everyone, welcome to another video. Again, it's been a while since I've done a sit down video, but I really wanted to delve into this topic because I have a few friends that are engaged. So I get to be going to a wedding instead of actually working one. But I have a few friends that are engaged, and you know, they ask for the steps, especially because some of them have chosen to get married abroad. So this video is going to be about how to plan an Ibiza wedding. Right, so if you don't know who I am, my name is Sommy. I am an event planner as well as actress and, you know, lifestyle videos, and my event company is called M Fiore Events. If you haven't seen us around, we plan and style weddings in the UK as well as Ibiza, so this is perfect. This is a perfect video. I don't know why I've not done this before, but yeah, just a few steps. Obviously there's so much more that goes into wedding planning and stuff, but I thought this is like a really great fundamental type video to get you going, get you through to the finish line, especially if you don't want something super complicated. So I hope this helps you and enjoy. Before you get to the Ibiza part, you have to make sure especially if you want a destination wedding, you and your partner go to a destination that you absolutely freaking love. Like, there's some people that have gotten married in the most random parts of the world, which, don't get me wrong, they're beautiful, but have you been there before? Could that be a honeymoon destination instead of your wedding destination? Because I think where it is, if you haven't been there before, then you don't really know the areas. I'm not saying that you should be super skilled in the areas of Spain, but you don't really know the areas, or you don't know, you know, weather-wise and all these different things. And I know it takes a Google search, but you could go to, it's even about the vibe of places. You want to make sure the vibe of places is right, especially because you're spending a lot of money. You want your family and friends to come, so the logistic element of that, and you want to make sure it's right for you. Like, you're going to remember your wedding for, I hope, 10 years and more down the line. So make sure it's a destination area that you love. So with the destination where you're debating where you're going, make sure your family and friends can actually get there. I think with destination weddings, you have to be a bit realistic that not all family and friends can afford to come, A, or might not be able to come, B, for whatever reason. So you need to make sure that you want your closest loved ones to be able to get there. Like, you don't want to get married in the Maldives where it's expensive, or you have to take another flight out, like Amalfi Coast is quite hard to get to sometimes, even though I heard that they're building a new airport, so maybe it'll be easier soon. But you want to make sure that is logistically okay for yourselves, because you're going to be doing a few trips over there, as well as your loved ones being able to get to that place where you're getting married. And then also another really important thing that people forget is the legal requirements. So you're getting married, guys, that is a legal requirement, so you need to make sure that you can get married over there. Obviously, if you're a UK citizen, you can't legally get married over there. You have to legally get married here in the UK. And then, for example, you can have a blessing over there, which a lot of people do now. Even in the UK, people have a lot of blessing ceremonies, or, you know, celebrants or ceremonies, just because registrars can be quite restrictive, yada yada yada. I can go down a whole other list of whys. So yeah, you would have to legally get married here in the UK. Obviously do the notice of marriage. I can always go deeper into those points, and then obviously set the actual UK wedding date, and have a few witnesses, and then have a celebrant, which they can either be a UK celebrant or someone that you find, or even a pastor that you can hire to go over there if you are religious, to do like a blessing or something to have over there. But just make sure you have your legal priorities in order. You don't, worst comes to worst, you do your wedding over there and you're like, oh wait, we're not actually married, and then you have to go through the whole thing. Like, you just want to make sure it's all sorted, all done with, so that you can have a good experience, essentially. Step 2, you've decided Ibiza's the place, okay? It's an Ibiza wedding. That's what we're here for. You've decided Ibiza's the place that you're getting married. Next thing to decide is budget. And it's not even decided, it's actually making decisions about your budget. What can you realistically afford? Okay, what can you realistically afford? We don't want to plan $100,000 wedding for something that you can actually only afford about 50k. Like, we have to be really, really careful, guys, because you'll get yourselves in. And I have had people that got themselves in sticky situations just because, you know, loans and all this stuff. And of course, you can get a loan out for your wedding, but if you're going to do that, just you have to be in the mindset that you're going to do that and pay it back or whatever you want to do. So budget is the next step, and it's a very key step. Here you can decide your 3 priorities. Maybe the priority is wedding venue, catering, entertainment. Therefore those 3 is going to be the largest bits of the money that you're putting towards, and then obviously the subcategories, and then the next subcategories is where you put, you know, less money into, because they don't necessarily mean that much to you. Not mean that much to you, but you know, they're part of the lower down your list, let's say. So the venue, you might want a magnificent venue, you might want delicious food. What did we say? Entertainment, you might want saxophonists, a band, all these different types of things, dancers, or you never know, maybe decor is the 3rd biggest priority. You want it to look visually stunning. So just make sure you've gone through the list of what actually a wedding day entails. Or even obviously, because it's a Ibiza wedding, you probably have like 3 days of entertainment, or 3 days of living it up on the dance floor, 3 days of, you know, something going on. So just make sure you've really gone through with your partner the 3 priorities for you two, and that way you'll be able to make sure the bulk of money is in those 3 places. And then with that said budget, that total budget, you can go down the list and see what is actually affordable for you two to put into whatever to put into B, C, D categories. Here's also another nice thing, because then once you've done your budgeting, you can also see what can be gifted. Maybe your parents want to gift you something, hair, makeup, cake, whichever, like maybe the bridesmaids, or you know, bridal party, it means wedding party. That's just a traditional term, before anyone comes for me in the comments, okay? So wedding party, like bridesmaids, groomsmen, whatever. So maybe they might want to gift something, or pay for their own like suits, or pay for their own dresses, whatever it is. So then there you can see, oh okay, so this might cost A, B, C. Maybe my mum can give me something. They've said that they want to help me out, so that's also where you can see the bits to take away. And then also within your budget, guys, make sure you have a buffer. Please, for the love of God, make sure you have a buffer amount. So this can be like 3k, 2k, obviously it depends how big the budget is. And then over here is for extra spend. So maybe something has, once you start booking things, maybe something is a bit over budget, then you can either take bits away from other categories, or you have a buffer there which would help you. Or deposits as well. Sometimes, well, 100% of the time the venue will ask for like a damage deposit for the final payment. So depending on that venue, it might be £1,000, it might be £5,000. So then that buffer can go towards that as well, and obviously you get that back, hoping that you don't damage anything. So make sure you put that within your budget. Also, this is the point where you can start doing a Pinterest board. So visually, so this is how we do it. We make sure that, especially with Ibiza weddings, we make sure from the day 1, so this could be pre-wedding day till the brunch, you have a story of how you want it to go. And within that, we do Pinterest boards for each part. So that's what you guys can do. Pinterest day 1, day 2, day 3. You can sub Pinterest boards if you have time to put into ceremony Pinterest, reception board, ceremony board, pre-dinner party, brunch party, whichever. Just make sure you have that, because then that also shows you guys the vision of what your wedding essentially is going to look like, or you know, what you want your wedding day to be. Especially, I think with Ibiza weddings especially, it's good to plan like 2 or 3 things within the day before and the day after, because essentially it's a holiday, guys. It's a destination wedding, we all know that. So people are coming for your wedding to spend time with you, and also for a holiday. So plan 2 to 3 things, I would say, is always really nice in those other days. And then that probably, what, 2-3 things, it depends. It could be an all-day thing, so like a yacht party, for example, on day 1 or day 2, and that way in the evening gives time for people to, you know, chill by themselves, go out to town, go to the old town, whatever it is. Like, I think it's nice to plan little bits of activities, and then that way your guests can do that with you, and then also have time to chill by themselves, or or you know the group can disperse so that it does feel like a nice holiday and not jam-packed. The worst thing about having a holiday is having it jam-packed, especially because the wedding day is already going to be jam-packed. You want people to feel at ease and, you know, come for a nice little getaway with you and actually leave the getaway feeling refreshed in a sense, but still had like a busy few days. Because then that's probably, I would say that's the perfect sort of mixture of a destination wedding. For Ibiza weddings, just make sure you're aware of May to October, because there could be some, this is the party season essentially, and if you want it to be, if you want to be near the party areas, there's obviously ways to avoid that, like you can go to the north of the island or whatever, but if you want to have some experience of that, just make sure, again, logistics, these sort of areas will be more expensive for your guests, hotel wise, whichever, so just be conscious of that, I think, and also be conscious of the size of your wedding. So what I mean by that is your guest numbers. So you can still have, like I say, 50k with 100 people, but things will have to be limited. What type of catering are you going to have? Maybe buffet catering. What type of decorations are you going to have? Probably going to keep it minimalistic. So you have to be careful in terms of the higher the guest numbers, the more money that will require, because obviously then that determines decor. So you're going to need more chairs or more cutlery, whatever that venue's offering you or not offering you. You need more of that per head, more catering per head, more drinks per head. So just be conscious of how many people you're inviting, whether that's intimate or a large number of guests. Of course people will drop out and things like that, but you just have to be conscious that if I'm going to invite said amount, then my budget is going to need to be higher for that. Of course, you could have 20 people and still have a high budget, but then again, that gives more leeway with different things that you want to do. Maybe you're going to have an 8-course plated meal with 20 people, you never know. But just be conscious of those sort of elements, I would say, within that budgeting that you do. Spreadsheets, because who doesn't love a spreadsheet? Clearly me. That was such a sad dance. Ignore that. Step 3, I would say, is the researching part. And from here, you could have a wedding planner. I'm not trying to plug myself, but you could have a wedding planner or someone that you might know knows the area quite well, because then they can do a lot of the research, or, you know, help you do essentially all of the planning from here on out. Oh, I'm losing my voice. Oh, my necklace is all tangled. But yeah, you could have a wedding planner. So a wedding planner essentially is someone that is very skilled in terms of the area, weddings in general, and can help you achieve and execute your vision really well. And I think what it is that they can have a list of venues that they already work with, negotiate contracts, get you discounts in some places depending on what you're looking for. So as well as the styling part, they know what works, what doesn't work, guest experience wise, hiring this, hiring that, so they can save you a lot of coin. I would say, as well as know where to really put your money towards that would really work well to make sure that your vision is executed well. So in this sort of part, having them to research and help you out is quite good. If not, you can always obviously do it yourself as well. So researching the different venues, the different areas in Ibiza especially, and then seeing what type of wedding you want in Ibiza. So there's a few different parts to go for. There's obviously resort weddings, so hotel weddings in Ibiza. You can actually do Airbnb weddings in Ibiza, so private property, restaurant weddings in Ibiza, or villa options as well, which sort of ties into the Airbnb stuff. Again, it completely depends on what you're looking for. Personally, I like the resort weddings as well as the villa Airbnb weddings. Those are my two go-tos, just because you're there for the entirety of your stay, which I think is really nice and makes it a lot simpler for the couples. Whereas with restaurant weddings are still beautiful, but obviously then there's the logistical element part of getting everyone to that restaurant, yada yada. I need to stop saying yada yada. Here's a cheeky little tip. A website that I love using is Oliver Travel, and then there you can actually search all the villas that are in Ibiza, and then they actually have like a tip box of what you can use that the villas allow weddings essentially. Obviously it makes the price go higher because then they charge probably like a cleaning fee, because they're going to need to clean up, electricity fee, because a lot of things are going to be happening then. But yeah, that's a website that I quite like using, as well as some of my go-tos. But within that, then you get to see the pros and cons of different types of weddings in Ibiza. Obviously with resort weddings, they tend to have the packages that are there for you. Sometimes they tailor it, sometimes they don't, it depends where you go. But they can have packages and everything's there for you if you're not so fussed on, you just want everything done essentially, which is a really handy thing, and then therefore you're just basing it on per person prices. And then they tend to have the furniture, all those things there already, so it's literally, I say zero effort, but less effort than a villa, standalone villa wedding. However, with resort weddings, you're not the only ones there. There's Karen over there in her swimsuit watching you get married, you know. So you have to take in mind that there's going to be other people there at the hotel, sunbathing, depending on the different areas that they have for the weddings. They might close it off, but they might not, it really depends. Obviously with food and everything like that, they tend to have their own function rooms. But still, you're not the only ones there. So when you leave that ceremony area or reception area, there's going to be hotel guests that are there looking at you. And if you don't care, then it's fine, it's still fine. And obviously they have the bedrooms, which is another good part of it, so that it's easy for your hotel, not your hotel guests, your wedding guests to be able to stay over. And then you can still plan things either end of the days as well when you're there. So those are little pros and cons. Obviously with villa weddings, it's a lot more private, and sometimes the villas have bedrooms already, so your wedding party, bridal party can stay within those bedrooms. Parents, depending on how many bedrooms they have, they can stay in there. And then obviously within that, people can just travel to that villa. This is obviously more standalone, so then you would have to, it's essentially dry hire, so you would have to find catering, sometimes furniture, sometimes the villa or the wedding venue villa would have furniture already. Decorations, like those things, decorations you would have had to find it for the hotel. But you know, you can go all out. There might not be as much limitations as there were with a hotel. It really depends. Decorations, like drinks especially, you would have to dry hire that in. Maybe they'll have corkage, maybe they won't. But you know, there's a lot more elements within getting all the stuff to that villa compared to the hotel. But then that's more personalized to you, that's more maybe in line with what you're looking for. You could tailor the menu to what you're looking for. You could tailor the time of day that you're getting married. With the hotels, it'd be a certain time of day you could use that ceremony area. So loads to think about, tons. But you know, it just depends again on what you're looking for your day, your vision. Always go back to your vision, guys, because if you deviate from that, if you forget, go back to those Pinterest boards and it will just help align what you're thinking, and then, you know, just take some of those family opinions out sometimes. And then again, it depends what you're looking for in terms of the pre-wedding and after wedding. The areas that you want to be in, like the east side of the island is more family, I would say, but it has an amazing yacht area, so you know, who doesn't love a boat party? You know, I'm an Ibiza girly, god. Anyway, who doesn't love a boat party? So that sort of area is quite nice. But then San Antonio has a yacht area, so that's more of the party part. If you want a party, go San Antonio. It has all the clubs, blah blah blah. You can have a, I wouldn't suggest having before the wedding going to Oshuana and all those places. I would go maybe on day 3 after the wedding, is completely up to you. Or Cafe Mambo, all those different places. There's a San Antonio area, and Playa del Bosse isn't too far from that as well if you wanted to get married along those areas. And again, depends on the time of year. You need to accept that it might rain. You're going to a sunny island, but it still might rain on your wedding day, so have a plan B as well, just in case. But I feel like people know to have a plan B these days, because the weather is not predictable in any country, I don't think. well, I say any country within reason, but yeah, so just decide on which part of the island you're looking for, and then within that, the activities that you want to do and how accessible they'll be in different parts of the island. Like if you go to the East Coast, how are you supposed to go clubbing? Like that'll be a long journey, so just make sure you think about those things as well as the actual wedding day itself, but you know, the things that your guests can actually go do on that wedding week or few days. So step 4 is getting your checklist and timeline together. So what do you need to do checklist wise from sorry, Preston's now in the room moving my light. My dog, if you don't know who that is. Preston! He's now ignoring me. I look like I don't have a dog. Bye-bye. Hello. You wanna say hi? He's gotten so big if you haven't seen him for ages. Hello. Say hi, Preston, to all the couples out there. Hey, 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 hey. Okay, he's like, let's go. Are you gonna be here? Okay, fine. Oh. Let's sit here. So step 4 is basically, I've lost my train of thought. So step 4, yes, checklist and timeline. So make sure you know what you're doing, or having that rough guide of what you need to do from plan A to Z. So checklist wise, have you booked the venue? Have you invited a guest list? Guests? Have you booked the caterers? Have you got your notice of marriage booked in? Have you got like have you ordered your marriage certificates in advance? Have you booked the flights? Like different things like that. And then obviously timeline wise, you should do a timeline based on like you and your family first. Hello, your family first, so what you guys need to do. It cut off, but I hope I'm in the right place still. Timeline wise, then you need to do a timeline based on the 3 days, a really in-depth one. So depending on the activities, well, basically a timeline from when the guests start to arrive to where they leave. A really in-depth one so you don't forget anything and start mapping that out for your journey and making sure that nothing is missed and everything is in detail there. Also is figuring out, especially because you're not legally getting married over there, you can choose based on the venue, you can choose what time the ceremony is. I would say have the ceremony later in the day, because then obviously sunrise, sunset especially is later in the day, and you can get some golden hour shots. But for example, I would start the ceremony from 3-4 o'clock based on the guest numbers as well and where you're getting married, and then you can have obviously the evening party and after party going from that. Also, a lot of my couples always want to get married on the beach. Sorry, that just came to me. On the beach, but I also think, well, you can't legally have a ceremony on the beach. Like you can't have seats and all that stuff in Ibiza, so you have to have it standing. And also with that, if you're having a standing ceremony, I wouldn't recommend having 100+ guests on that beach, because again, Karen and whatnot will be on their beach towels over there, and it's quite hard to get everyone back in, and it's just not the vibe, I would say. If it was a cute ceremony of 20 to 50 people, absolutely fine, but once you start building those numbers and having that on the beach, it's not the best, especially because the locals don't really like it so much. You know, it's a natural part of the island. Most of it is anyway. It's a natural part of the island, so they don't want it to be ruined. So just bear that in mind. Within step 4 is actually visiting these venues, the shortlisted venues. So you should already have their prices. So prices per person, or how much it is to hire it out, accommodation in that area, flights within to get to that area, or you know, taxi to get to that area. So you should have like sort of your own spreadsheet of A, B, C, these different prices within that venue, and that way once you visit them, based on the vision and what the look of it, you can also take those other bits into consideration for yourselves as well as your guests. I say as well as your guests very loosely, but by this point you should have already decided the sort of budget that your guests could probably make the wedding or not. So yeah, so you should have prices already, and that will help your decision, because you never know, you might like all 5 venues that you see over there, so this will help your decision in actually deciding which one you're going to have your wedding day. Also is deciding with the vision board, you would have already most likely have a thread within this, but it's the design of your wedding. So making sure that, you know, you might have a certain design for the pre-wedding, a design for the wedding day itself, and then a design for the afterwards. So it might be black and white theme, chic, very aesthetically pleasing for the pre-wedding. On the day of the wedding itself, you might want it chic but still like colorful, maybe vibrant, certain colors, pink, orange, Ibiza sort of colors you might want, or you might want to scale it back and have pastel colors. Obviously it depends within the season that you're getting married, floral wise. That can contribute to the price, but again, it's up to you. And then obviously the last day, it could be more vibrancy, or maybe it's more muted, maybe it's all just all white sort of party. I love an all white party. But yeah, so within that you'll start seeing the design and the styling of the days that you're there for your celebration. So step 6, loads of steps guys, I know. So step 6 is actually make sure your wedding, I would advise having a wedding website guys. Have a wedding website, It makes your life so much easier. Of course you can still have hard copy invites, but I would then probably just give the hard copy invites to a select few, like parents, bridal party, things like that. But make sure your wedding website, or you know, your invites is ready, because these need to be sent out ASAP once you've chosen your venue and sort of decided on your ceremony time. Send it ASAP. I can't stress that enough. You're having a wedding abroad. People need to budget, people need to plan. So on the website and everything, it also needs to have accommodation and things to do within that, because you never know, people might want to book something, they might want to go to San Jose for a day, like there's different things. So make sure you send your invites as soon as possible. I would suggest probably a year in advance for something like this. Usually people send invites, like if it's a UK wedding, 6 months before. I would suggest a year, sometimes even more, depending on you know your family, so you know how much time they need to plan. So just send it out as soon as possible, and then that way it puts everyone's minds at ease, and they know they have something to look forward to and also something to work towards in terms of saving money. And then within that you'll obviously have the RSVPs, therefore you get your numbers straight away. You don't have to mess around. I say straight away, but people will even leave you to the week before guessing. But with this case, you'll know if someone's coming or not. But yeah, make sure you have the numbers, the RSVPs, and then also food allergies as well. So the sooner the better, really, with this case. And I wouldn't even bother with a save the date at this time. It's completely up to you. Save the dates you can still do if it's more than a year in advance, I would say, but I would say just send the invites if you have everything sorted, of course. If not, then just send the save the dates out at least a year in advance. Step 6 is actually find out who's within the bridal party. So who's your maid of honor, best man, all those different things, best bridesmen, all those, whatever you're doing. Like, decide who's going to be there, stick with you through thick and thin, because they can come with you on these trips as well. Sometimes with work commitments, you can't always go to the venue or go see other what's it called, suppliers, but they can come with you, and then obviously it's cute. They can start planning the hen parties, the stag parties, whatever you're doing. So it adds that, you know, element of excitement. You know, things are going, it's becoming real. So make sure you've actually planned who's who within your bridal party, and then you can also add that to your wedding website actually if you wanted to, so that everyone knows who's going to be your, you know, your little clique, your little gang for the day, your little entourage. And then also with this step is actually deciding on who's going to be your suppliers. So I would look at 5 suppliers for each category personally. With the priority ones, I would actually look at 3, narrow it down to 3 really good ones, and then speak to them either Zoom call, if you have time, go over there. Use local suppliers if you can. It'll make it cheaper travel wise. 9 times out of 10 it'll make it cheaper travel wise, because then accommodation fees, all that stuff. But again, if you really love someone in the UK, you know, make sure you've hired them first. They're obviously within that priority of yours, so make sure you hire them and make sure it's aligned with your budget. But yeah, use local suppliers I would suggest, just because then it makes it a bit easier. They know the area, they know the venues most likely, and also within this step you would have started to sense the schedule of the day. Don't forget to schedule time between you and your partner, so little pockets of time that you two can just go enjoy yourselves, go sit, put your feet in the sand wherever you are, just go enjoy yourselves and not be constantly surrounded by people. Or also schedule times where you're actually going to be with your party and not taking pictures all the time. The best part of taking pictures is probably during the drinks reception, and everything else is candid, so you are with your family and friends speaking. But you know, you can schedule time to actually go around the room and say hello and everything. So again, it's completely up to you and what you're looking to do, but make sure you schedule those times, because the day goes by so quickly. You want to make sure you soak up every moment you can, whether that's with your partner as well as your family and friends on the day and the day before. Another thing why I love Ibiza weddings, because the day does go by so quickly, but you have the pre-wedding day and the post-wedding day, or if you wanted to extend it, go for it, which just makes it really nice. It makes a whole experience, and you can actually really enjoy yourselves and not feel so rushed. Perfect. So the last step after all of that, and obviously there's a lot more, dresses, different things, tastings, but you know, these are the fundamentals. But the last step is actually when your wedding weekend is here. So just before this, make sure you delegate. Whether you have a planner, they'll obviously take charge and do this all for you, and then you could just sit back and relax, or you delegate with family and friends. So make sure, you know, Hazel, that's a rubbish name, Hazel is bringing all the decorations, or is in contact, if you're doing DIY, or is in contact with XYZ supplier to make sure they're going to be there on time. Have mum making sure that she has all the contact numbers of all the suppliers, to make sure their ETAs are there and everything, and to greet them once they get there, to show them where they're going. I don't know, maid of honor or best man can be in touch with the venue as the next point of call, because obviously on the wedding day the venue isn't going to go to you, they're going to go to someone else because they don't want to disturb you. So make sure someone knows your plan from A to Z again, and then they'll be able to like direct people where to go for this. And then like make sure someone's in charge of the suits, bringing all the suits there, dresses there, make sure there's a steamer, there's loads of things, who's got the signage and everything like that. So just make sure you've delegated those little bits so that you guys don't leave too much pressure on yourselves, and you don't feel like you have to be pressurized in terms of getting everything ready. It should already be ready by the time you're there, but I would say delegate as much as you can, and make sure you're there 1 week before the wedding. Make it a week, guys. Don't come the day before or 2 days before. Make it a week so you can really get everything done, nerves are out, you can then enjoy yourselves, greet your guests, blah blah blah. Like, the one thing you don't want to be is rushed throughout the entire process. So make sure you're there the week before so you can really settle in, do what you have to do, meet your local suppliers, meet whoever, and that way when your guests do arrive, you're already like in that Ibiza mode. I need to stop dance. And make sure to enjoy your day. Enjoy your day. You've done all that planning, you've done all that hard work, you've done all those spreadsheets. Just make sure you enjoy your day. Like, even if something goes wrong, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Just make something, you have plan B's and something will sort itself out. People always run around behind the scenes, whether it is family, friends, or you know, whoever, or planner. They'll make sure it's sorted for you, but you guys need to make sure you've enjoyed your day. You spent so much money, you want all your family and friends to have a great guest experience. Just make sure you've enjoyed it to the fullest that you can, because the last thing you want is that you're worrying that the cake, I don't know, the cake was all cut instead of one slice cut. Trust me, that's happened before. So yeah, just make sure you've enjoyed your day to the fullest, and make sure you've enjoyed your holiday. Essentially, you're on holiday with all your family and friends. Like, that's one of the greatest gifts, I think, to be able to have that moment with everyone. So yeah, just make sure you've enjoyed every bit of it. You only technically get to do it once. I say technically because people do get remarried, but ideally you only do it once. So yeah, make sure everything is enjoyed, and then you get to reminisce and maybe book a, I don't know, what's it called, an anniversary thing there. But I hope that helps anyone at the start of their planning journey for Ibiza. Again, there's so many different things that goes into wedding planning. I could be talking for hours and hours, but you'll get bored. So yeah, I hope that helps you with the fundamentals as well, and gets your, what am I trying to say, kicks your brain in gear, that's it, kicks your brain in gear, to be able to achieve that vision that you're looking for your Ibiza wedding. And if you are having an Ibiza wedding, I hope you enjoy it, as well as any other wedding. I hope you enjoy it. Have an amazing day, because honestly, I'm just gonna be cheesy, weddings are beautiful. It's not even just the wedding itself, the whole aspect of it. That's why I always say to enjoy the planning, because the minute you start putting too much stress on the planning, it becomes, well, essentially horrible. So make sure you enjoy the planning, make sure you have people there to help you, make it fun. Even if you're doing spreadsheets, make it like a date night spreadsheet, you never know. Yeah, just make sure you try to enjoy the whole process, because again, you probably won't do it again. You don't want to do it again. You want to be with that person forever, so enjoy the whole thing. But thank you for watching, if you watched the whole thing. I know it's a long one, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.